The Architectural Digest. Welcome to the Oval Office. Come on in.
Washington, the Republican-controlled U.S. House Oversight Committee said on Wednesday it has subpoenaed President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and brother, James Biden, to appear for depositions in an escalation of its impeachment inquiry into the Democrat. House Republicans launched an impeachment inquiry in September, following months of probes. They allege that Biden and his family have personally profited from policy decisions made by Biden when he was vice president during former President Barack Obama's administration. James Biden could not immediately be reached for comment. Abby Lowell, Hunter Biden's lawyer, called the subpoena yet another political stunt. Nevertheless, Hunter is eager to have the opportunity, in a public forum and at the right time, to discuss these matters with the committee, Lowell said in a statement. Devon Archer, a former business associate of Hunter Biden, told the House Oversight Committee earlier this year that the younger Biden sought to create an illusion of access to his father and put his father on the phone with foreign associates maybe 20 times. Over the course of Archer's business relationship with Hunter Biden, a sudden new twist in the investigation into Hunter Biden means his legal tribulations will likely stretch on for months, creating an unwelcome new drag on his father's White House and re-election bid. Just weeks ago, the shadow of criminal suspicion over Hunter Biden seemed about to lift. But the elevation of David Weiss, the prosecutor investigating President Joe Biden's son, to special counsel status on Friday was as important for symbolic and political reasons as it was for legal ones. The new status grants him extra powers to broaden his inquiries potentially into other states beyond his current patch as U.S. Attorney in Delaware. U.S. Attorney David C. Weiss speaks to the media in September 2022. Why was Weiss named special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden? It's complicated. The change of status followed the collapse of a deal last month that likely would have seen Hunter Biden get sentenced to probation after pleading guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges. The deal would have also included an arrangement that would have resolved a felony gun charge. Weiss said in a court filing on Friday that negotiations to restructure the deal, which a judge had worried was unconstitutional, have now reached an impasse and that a trial was likely. The prospect of the president's son going on trial, under a glaring media spotlight, would be a nightmare distraction for any White House, let alone potentially during a re-election campaign. It would also prolong the personal toll on the president and his family of an investigation into his only surviving son, a recovering addict, which has already lasted 5 years. Such a spectacle could be so damaging to Joe Biden that former Attorney General Alberto Gonzales said on CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper Friday that a fresh plea agreement could not be ruled out. The risk of a trial is potentially much greater for Hunter Biden. It's also bad for his father. Does the son really want to put the president through a trial in the middle of a campaign, said Gonzales, who served in the George W. Bush administration. The exact legal implications of the request by Weiss will only become fully clear in the coming weeks. There are questions, for example, over why Weiss requested his new elevated status after being ready to conclude a plea deal with Hunter Biden and saying previously he didn't need special counsel powers. And why did Attorney General Merrick Garland decide that this was the moment, in accordance with the special counsel statute in U.S. law, that there were sufficient criminal allegations to investigate as well as potential conflicts of interests in keeping Weiss under the direct supervision of the Justice Department? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hunter Biden's lawyer Abby Lowell told CNN's Caitlin Collins on The Source Friday that although Weiss's title had changed, the facts of the case hadn't. After 5 years of what he described as one of the most thorough investigations ever, Lowell said career prosecutors had decided that the only appropriate charges were misdemeanors on tax and a diverted gun charge. So whatever his title is, and whatever happens next, we're confident that that should be the same conclusion, he said. Other questions for Weiss also surround the issue of why an investigation that started back in the Trump administration has taken so long to reach a conclusion, and whether his new status augurs a move beyond the tax and gun charges facing Hunter Biden and into his business activities or some other areas. Why special counsels are bad news for administration's political reverberations erupted as soon as Garland announced his move in a surprise news appearance. The Attorney General has sought to avoid the public appearance of political interference in the probe, given what he called the extraordinary circumstances of the case, namely that it involves the son of a sitting president. But the symbolic weight of an appointment of a special counsel stiffens the perception of scandal and potential wrongdoing, even if the legal realities of the case haven't shifted. The worry for the White House is that special counsels and independent prosecutors, from the Clinton administration to the Trump administration, have had a history of expanding investigations beyond their strict original areas, and nobody can be sure exactly how or when their probes might end. The most tangible political fallout from Friday's decision will be to give months of new material for Republicans seeking to portray President Biden as corrupt, a welcome distraction from the unprecedented and multiple indictments facing ex-President Donald Trump. It's not clear that the appointment of a special counsel will result in the Hunter Biden story expanding into the political mainstream beyond its feverish coverage in conservative media and consuming attention of House Republicans. But Republicans will work to ensure independent and swing voters get to hear all about it and advance their unproven claim that Hunter Biden is getting unfair benefits from the Justice Department while Trump is being persecuted. These split-screen narratives were in evidence when the special counsel announcement shared the headlines with the first pre-trial hearing before Judge Tanya Chutkan over Trump's indictment over allegations that he broke the law in his bids to overturn the result of the 2020 election. A viewer unfamiliar with the details of each case might get the erroneous impression that Biden and his potential Republican rival in the 2024 election were facing equivalent legal duress. Part of Trump's politics in general is to suggest that the waters are murky, everyone swims in them, everybody behaves in the same way, and therefore these offenses are to be ignored, said David Axelrod, a former top aide to President Barack Obama, who is now a CNN senior political commentator. Over the past few days, the name of US President Joe Biden has been published by the media and social networking sites because of the criticism directed at him as a result of the slip of the tongue that he fell prey to in the last important meetings he attended. But his brother Jim also had a share of the attack, after he was subjected to accusations that he was taking advantage of his older brother's presidency. The American magazine Politico revealed that Jim, who is known as James Bryan Biden, the younger brother of the current US president, used his brother's name to promote his business, especially with regard to his medical empire affiliated with him and bearing the name AmeriCorps. In addition to appointing 3 people from his family to prestigious jobs, as well as his involvement in more than $100 million worth of corruption and fraud, as reported by the Daily Mail. Former AmeriCorps executives also said that Jim was also planning to have Joe serve on his company's board of directors and suggested that his brother could promote the company during the future presidential election period. The impact of Jim corruption cases on his brother's presidential election. The email of the company AmeriCorps was able to expose Biden's younger brother, as the conversations revealed that Jim was using the president's name to pass medical business transactions with pharmaceutical companies and others, as he offered to secure funds from investors in the Middle East to finance the expansion of his company. This came at a time when the leader of the White House is struggling to stay in a new presidential term, and a report published by the magazine Politico indicated that the younger brother's behavior is inappropriate by the Biden family, especially at a time when the president is facing.
We have reached the end of the video. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that everything new reaches you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel